theology, the mystery of the incarnation, that Jesus Christ is 100% man and 100% God, is sometimes difficult for my mind to get itself around. I wanted to tell you a little story about a challenge of being an engineer. There was a man who was in a hot air balloon, and he was up in the clouds, and he got lost, didn't know where he was because he couldn't see. So he decided to lower himself down through the clouds, and when he came down, he saw a man walking on the road. And he thought, aha, I'm going to ask this guy where I am. So he kind of maneuvered the hot air balloon over by the man, and he said, sir, could you tell me where I am? And the man looked at him and said, sure, you're at 43 degrees west, 27 degrees north, and at an elevation of 25 feet. And the man in the balloon had a puzzled look on his face, and he said to the man on the path, you, sir, must be an engineer. He said, well, why do you say that? He says, because while you've answered my question technically, I still have absolutely no idea where I am. And the man on the path looked at the man in the balloon, and he said, well, sir, you must be a manager. And the man in the balloon said, well, why do you say that? And he said, because I've technically answered your question with all the appropriate data, but you still don't know where you are, and you're blaming me. So, anyway, if any of you have listened to any of the podcasts by Father Hopko on Ancient Faith Radio, will probably be familiar with this term. He says a lot that orthodoxy is paradoxy. And in a lot of ways, I feel like me being here today is a paradox. A lot of you may feel the same way. I think all of us coming together here at this camp is a very unique thing. A mystery maybe is a better word. The paradox of all of us coming together from all our different backgrounds, all our different countries, all our different continents, all to this one place is truly amazing. My priest, when I was a catechumen, used to have this special way of complimenting me in such a way that I was never sure if it was actually a compliment or an insult. And he used to say to me, you know, Carl, you're a pretty good guy for a WASP. If you don't know what WASP means, it's a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So the paradox of me being here today as a former WASP at this Antiochian village sticks out in my mind. But my being here is full of other paradoxes as well. The church I attend is named after St. Elias, and while I've been here, I've been taught to chant by Father Elias, who has been a true inspiration to me. My church building was actually consecrated by then Bishop Raphael in 1914, and while I've been here, every year I've had the opportunity to visit the grave of St. Raphael here at the village. But the paradoxes of my life actually go back even much further than that. My father's parents were born in Hamburg, Germany. They escaped Nazi Germany before World War II began and moved to the United States and settled in Detroit, Michigan. On my mother's side of the family, my mother was actually born on Westman Island. I'm willing to bet probably no one knows where that is. It's a small island. Actually, it's a small volcano off the coast of Iceland. Now, why people chose to live on a volcano, I have no idea. But that might give you some insight into the type of person that would choose to live there. But anyway, my mother was born on Westman Island, and they didn't leave before World War II. They waited until the middle of World War II, and my grandmother decided it would be a good idea to leave Iceland and come to the United States. So she got a ticket and got on a ship bound for New York City. And before they had gotten too far, suddenly they were being chased by a German submarine. So they were ducking in and out of the fjords and hiding behind islands and icebergs and whatever, trying to evade this German submarine and avoid being sunk. Needless to say, they succeeded, otherwise I wouldn't be here today. And they immigrated through Ellis Island in New York City. And the next mystery of the story is then my grandmother didn't have any money. So what possessed her to come to the United States without any money, I'm not sure. But she got $5 from the American Red Cross, and that was enough for her to buy a train ticket, which she used to go to Maryland and meet up with family there. Now, the paradox of this all is that my mother, as you can tell from the previous part of the story, grew up and married a German, and her son, me, ended up going into the Navy and serving aboard submarine. I served for 4 years aboard the USS Alaska. If you don't know anything about submarines, the U.S. basically has two types of submarines. We have, I'll call them small submarines, for lack of a better word, that are used to fight against other submarines. And then we have big submarines that carry nuclear missiles. I was on the big kind of submarine. So I did 6 strategic patrols out of Bangor, Washington, with 24 nuclear missiles, all pointed at Russia. And what I didn't know was that after I got out of the Navy, I would meet a very nice woman who I would eventually marry, and she was Russian. Now, she was born in the Soviet Union before the Soviet Union dissolved, and when she was born, it wasn't safe to be Orthodox in the Soviet Union. So her parents actually are still atheists. They were raised in the Soviet propaganda era. But her mother was her grandmother was a very strong Orthodox Christian, and she took her in secret to baptize her, and she taught her the faith in secret in her house because it wasn't safe to go to the church. And so through her, through my wife's grandmother, Orthodoxy actually came to me. So the next thing I kind of want to talk about a little bit was how much I enjoy being here with you all, and especially the part that I think I enjoy most is worshiping together and singing together. I like singing with everyone because then no one can hear how bad I sing. But it's really is a team effort. Liturgically, we have people who have very specific duties and assignments. We have the chanters, and we have the priests and the bishops, and we have the people, right? And I guess the quintessential metaphor for teamwork in the United States, anyway, seems to usually be football. So sorry to all you who don't know the game of football very well, but. In the game of football, everyone has a very specific assignment. Everyone has to do their job and do it well. You can't do anyone else's job. And athletes develop in such a way that they're very specialized to do their job. A wide receiver, you can tell a wide receiver just by looking at them. They're tall and fast, and they can jump high and catch balls. And the running backs are, stocky and run fast. The quarterbacks have nice hair and shiny teeth for doing interviews. And the linemen are big and burly guys for blocking. I was a lineman, and I remember my sophomore year, I had earned a starting spot as the left guard for the Naval Academy. And our first home game against Brigham Young University, I was very excited. And on the first time we had our first possession, the first time we had the ball, a play called was a counter right. if you don't know, a counter right for a left guard is a really great play, because that means that I was going to get to pull down the line and trap the defensive tackle. So basically, I was going to get to run for 6 yards, get a head of steam, and basically play this guy out, right? And so I got really excited because I instantly had these visions of grandeur in my head. I thought, I was going to be on the front page of the newspaper, and they're going to be doing the replays on TV. Oh, look at this guy. So I got really excited, and I went up to the line, and I thought, well, I'm gonna cheat in. I'm going to stand a little bit closer to the center than I normally do, so that I'll get there even faster, and I'll have a really great block, and everyone will see me. So we got down in my stance, and the center snapped the ball, and I took my first step towards glory, but instead of heading down the line to block the defensive tackle, I stepped right on the quarterback's foot, which of course caused him to trip into the running back, who was running towards him to take the ball, and they both fell to the ground, and we lost 3 yards on the play. So the moral of the story is basically that you have to do your own job. You have to do it well, and there's some jobs that you're never going to get any recognition for, but that doesn't mean they're any less important. And I think most offensive linemen know that, and I learned it real quick after that. For those of you who were at church on Sunday in Johnstown, Father Don talked about stained glass windows in a church. And we talked about how on one side the light was shining through, and on the other side it was dark. We talked about the light of Christ shining through the windows. And I guess I wanted to take that metaphor one step farther. Because in a stained glass window, you have lots of pieces of glass, and they're all made up of different colors, and different shapes, and different sizes. And on their own, they're just a piece of glass. But when you put them all together, they can make something beautiful. And I feel like when we're all here together, we're like those pieces of glass. And when we fit all together and we let the light of Christ shine through us, then we can become that beautiful icon of the body of Christ. Thank you.